Nobody talks about how strong you have to be when God is quiet and life still expects you to perform. Welcome back to What Will Renee Say Today? Your dose of petro, pearls, prayers, and perspective. Today's episode is for women who still showing up, still smiling, and still performing, even though heaven feels really quiet for them right now. Let's drill into it. Showing up anyway is one of the first petro perspectives that anybody in the oilfield industry needs to realize. The oilfield does not pause for personal problems. The oilfield is 24/7, and there is a famous catchphrase that upstream, midstream, and downstream uses. When do you need this, sir? Right now. And then the second phase to that is you show up on location with your service or your equipment, and you're nervous. You're a bundle of nerves. And sir, what would you like me to do this? Oh, it's time to wait. So the second phase is hurry up and wait. Oilfield lingo. Showing up during the hard seasons in your life isn't faith. It's faithful. It's being faithful. Faithful to your calling, faithful to your responsibility, faithful to the strong woman that's growing inside of you. We walk by faith and not by sight. Do you know that Jesus went through a very, very barren time in his life? He was placed in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. He was isolated and endured very harsh conditions. And do you know that this is when the devil was allowed to tempt him? There are desert seasons in our lives, and they are often very scary. They're lonely. You feel isolated. You're uncertain about the future. You're stressed about your finances and career. But you wait, and you work through it, and you dance through the storm, and life stretches you after. And then there's a breakthrough, and you get a new call, a new calling, a new job. You make that big decision. You are able to feel those leadership shoes in your family and your faith and your profession. Growth tends to be tested before it is revealed. My mom always said that experience is the hardest teacher because it gives you the test first and then the lesson. What do we do when God is quiet? God's silence does not mean he's absent. Quiet seasons are often preparation. Just like drilling, progress happens underground long before the breakthrough appears on the surface. Silence is not a canceled promise. It is a refined, polished petro product. The pearl of wisdom for today's episode. Silence from God is not a no. Jesus answers our prayers 3 ways. He says, or may say, yes, or he may say, not yet, or he may say, I have something better planned for you. And that's what happened to me. In 2018, I had to go back to work. It wasn't my choice. I had to go back to work. As you heard in the previous podcast, my husband needed me. I didn't know what I was doing, but I am a fast learner. That having to go back to work was scary. I was afraid. And fear can make you desperate. Sometimes it can paralyze you. But my whole point is that I was in unfamiliar territory and territory that I didn't desire to be in. I wanted to stay home with my family and finish raising my boys as they completed high school. But God put me in a desert season in my life. After we met one challenge and one obstacle after another, and we finally made the big decisions to sell our possessions. We came and we settled into a little house with 3 big oak trees on a cul-de-sac with beautiful neighbors and doves singing in our front yard. It's a quiet pathway for walkers. And in November, I got a call that said, "You want to go back to work?" And I said, "Yes, I want to go back to work." And they said, "It's in Midland." And I said, "That's great. I love Midland." Had Jesus never pulled me from my comfortable life into an uncomfortable life, I would have never known the adventures and the promises that the Permian Basin held, much less the beauty of its people. And that was a new adventure for me. The rumor roundup. Someone once said, "Renee must be struggling. God hasn't opened doors for her lately." But some doors are meant to open. Some doors don't open quietly. Some doors swing wide open at the right moment. Well, that wide open right moment came on my maiden voyage back to the Permian Basin a few weeks ago. I was so excited to see so many people that I hadn't seen in a long time. And they said, "Renee, what are you doing? What are you up to?" So I briefly shared about Richard and I's 2025 journey of downsizing and how I was back in the industry. Well, do you know what empowerment I received? I had people, owners, business owners saying, "I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you. Are you available this week?" With that, I ended up having 4 job interviews that were unplanned to sell oilfield service products in the Permian Basin. It was so exciting. I was able to pick and choose which products was the best fit for me to sell and which businesses that I would be able to be the most benefit for. Those opportunities are swinging wide open. What did Renee say today? Renee said, resilience sometimes look like faithfulness without applause. There's no signs, there's no validations, just trust. And that trust produces a beautiful, polished petroleum product. Finally, know that resilience is a discipline. It's always taking the next step forward. It's always finding the joy, and it's always being your best self, no matter how down you might feel. So keep showing up. God hasn't forgotten you. He will open the doors at the right time. So thank you for listening to What Will Renee Say Today? Your dose of petro, pearls, prayers, and perspective. See you next time. And as always, let's keep rooting for one another.